He's built multiple businesses, sold multiple businesses, and been in the real estate for a long, long time.
So I started investing in real estate, and an agent I met who was helping me buy and flip condos and build a portfolio told me, hey, you should get your license, be an agent. I was a little insulted at first. I was like, what? Be an agent? Are you kidding? That's what I have you for. But I said, well, let me think about this and let me get into it. And I started to realize, wow, there's a real opportunity in real estate brokerage, a real estate agent. You're your own boss. You could create as big or small of a business as you want. You decide everything. You could hire, you can create your own strategies and grow as much as you want. But I saw an opportunity to create a real estate brokerage in San Francisco. Because if you all agreed on the same things, nothing is going to change. And you need varying views, different perspectives. And you need to, the way I kind of look at it is like, I need to hear opinions from everyone. Maybe the ideas are not implementable all the time, because it's not just the idea, it's can you implement it, right? But it's like, what's the spirit of that idea?
Welcome to the Top Real Estate Influencers podcast with your hosts, Mario Hurley and Alex Montalenti. Today, we have the privilege and honor of talking to Mark Choey. Did I announce that right?
Choey is good. Choey is the correct way.
I like Choey. Choey.
Yeah, but as long as you don't say Chewy, then that's okay.
Okay.
Awesome. And he's a real serial entrepreneur like me from New York. He's built multiple businesses, sold multiple businesses, and been in the real estate for a long, long time. I'm curious to hear the story, how you got into it, how it developed, the struggles you went through, the victories, the accomplishments, and what you're up to now. I love what you're up to. You're about helping realtors, making it simple for them, making elegant presentation for them, and I'm excited to dive into this.
Fantastic. Thank you. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
You got it. So
Absolutely.
tell us.
Go ahead, Mr. Alex. Go ahead.
Yeah. So tell us, how did you all get started into real estate?
Oh man, back in 2005, I moved from New York to San Francisco, and real estate was booming. And I had just left my job at Citigroup in their emerging technology department. And I was like, let me try my hand at real estate investing. So this was before the subprime crisis, when everyone was getting loans and real estate was going up 25% a year. Home ownership was at a huge high. Appreciation was it. A lot of people were just investing in real estate. I started doing that in San Francisco. It was the beginning of the boom in San Francisco in many ways. They earmarked an entire district for development, and they started building lots of stuff there, lots of condos, lots of new housing. And then it was going around all around the country, in Austin and Las Vegas, many places. Phoenix was blowing up. So I started investing in real estate, and an agent I met who was helping me buy and flip condos and build a portfolio told me, hey, you should get your license, be an agent. I was a little insulted at first. I was like, what? Be an agent? Are you kidding? That's what I have you for. But I said, well, let me think about this and let me get into it. And I started to realize, wow, there's a real opportunity in real estate brokerage, a real estate agent. You're your own boss. You could create as big or small of a business as you want. You decide everything. You could hire, you could create your own strategies and grow as much as you want. But I saw an opportunity to create a real estate brokerage in San Francisco. And so I went back to my agent and I said, hey, we should start a brokerage. You made me get my license. Now I'm going to make you start a brokerage with me. And his name was Chris Lim. So today he's heading up franchise at Properties. And I think he's like the president of Christie's now. Christie's Real Estate. He just bought it. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So he might be a good person to have on your show. But anyway, I went back to him. I said, hey, we should really pool our talents and build a brokerage. His talent was sales and marketing. He was one of the most genius marketers, salespeople I ever met. And I am a techie and business person and visionary. And so I said, hey, I had this vision. I think we could create this cool urban brokerage in downtown San Francisco and bring a little bit of New York in, because, San Francisco was a small town and didn't have high-rise living, really. So they had this area where they were just marking all high rises, lofts, cool lofts, kind of like your cool district in Wynwood, right? In Wynwood in Miami,
Yeah.
and then all the South Beach condos. So we have a South Beach in San Francisco too. They call it South Beach. So yeah, so that's what happened. And you know, I had the vision and the tech and the business stuff, and he had the sales and marketing, and we just started building this brand called Climb Real Estate. I could keep going on that, or was there a follow-up question?
Yeah, I'd like to hear how you built that up. Like, I mean, you had a vision for a brand called Climb Real Estate. You got one guy that says, "Yeah, let's do this."
Yeah, yeah.
How do you go about building a whole team and dominating that local market, and then
yeah, exactly. You know, I joined Keller Williams, and I joined it for the training because they are probably hands down some of the best training, you know, in any brokerage. So I got hooked onto the Red Book, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, MREA. Everyone in real estate should probably read this book, and it's about how to build a team and how to have structure in your team, and something that real estate agents really struggle with, right?
Yeah.
Most of them, right? They don't think in a structural way. They're more relationship, emotional, sales, marketing. It's not about structure. So at least that's my experience with agents. And you know, so I brought structure to it. I said, hey, you need buyer agents, you need a listing coordinator, we need a marketing department, we need admin help. And so we kind of funneled it all together, created this team, and we set out to focus on one neighborhood in San Francisco and dominate that neighborhood. And, you know, at the time, this neighborhood called South of Market or South Beach, Mission Bay is another part of it. You know, it's a corner of the city that was all garages and warehouses, right? And it's very much like Wynwood and other areas of every city's got this area: industrial, auto garages, paint stores. I mean, you can walk around the block and run into 5 paint stores, right? It's like where you buy your paint. And every place has this. And then, you know, the rest of the city gets expensive. And they're like, hey, what about this area here? Why don't we redevelop this area? So that's what happened. And I said, let's plant a flag here, right? Because I bet in 5 to 10 years, this is going to be the #1 district in the whole city in terms of sales dollar, right? At the time, it was Pacific Heights. A lot of people know what Pacific Heights is, Noe Valley in San Francisco. And so we said, if we focus here, grow, own the market here, we'll grow organically with the city. And that district ended up becoming 25% of the sales in the whole city. We grew with it and we skyrocketed. We also had the strategy of focusing on first-time buyers into condos. And not necessarily first-time buyers. I mean, when you buy in a condo, you're not generally a family gonna buy in a condo. You're going to be a single person, right? Or you're retiring and moving back to the city. So we focused on condos. And the reason is because the turnover in condos is very high. You only can live in a box for so long: 1,000 square foot box, 800 square foot box, 1,400 square foot box. You only can live in there so long. So I said, great, we'll represent all the buyers going into these condo buildings.
Yeah.
And I bet a lot of people do the same strategy in Miami, as you know. They like only focus on new developments. And they position themselves as the new development condo expert, or et cetera. And we focused only on those. We really, really did. We said, we're going to capture 30% of the market share in this building, just on the buyers that went in. So we did that. And some buildings were 20%, some buildings were like literally 35%. I was personally over 40% of the sales, just me, in the largest condo building in San Francisco. It was 650 units. And I moved into the building and I made it my hunting ground and neighborhood. And we dominated the condos. And what happens in condos? These buyers, well, they need a significant other. They get a job change. They get kids. They have kids, right? And they have to move. So you get the buy side and you get the sell side again, because it's not that long that they have to resell. They're not going to stay in there 10, 15 years in general. The average is like 5 to 7 years, maybe. Some are 2 years, some are 4 years, some are 5 years. So you get the resale, so you get 2 sales. And then if they're buying around the area, you get that sale too, right? So you get 3 sales. So we use that strategy to propel climb real estate. And we did a lot of great marketing. We did a lot of great branding. We ingratiated ourselves with Inman, the publication, and any media outlet. We did a lot of, I would call them PR stunts. We had an Airstream office. We had a lot of tech. We had a lot of inclusion. San Francisco is very well known for inclusion, right? And so we leaned on that way ahead of time. And we leaned on millennials. We leaned on tech, and everything everywhere around San Francisco is tech. So you can't escape it.
Yeah.
And so if you just do anything in tech, you're sort of in the leading edge, right? And so we created a Climb Labs, which was our innovation center for tech. We got famous with Zillow. I was on the Truly advisory board to give advice to them on how to build a product. And I became on the Zillow advisory board. We started winning all kinds of awards for best website, best neighborhood website, most innovative. We just did things differently, and we kind of marched to our own beat of our own drummer. And we just said, hey, if we as 30-year-olds or 40-year-olds, like young, I consider myself young.
Yeah.
If we were to redo brokerage, what would we do? Okay, 1, no offices, right? We had co-working, right? What else would we do? Mobile, right? You need to be mobile. So we had a mobile office. What else would you do? Well, you got to be hip, cool, social media. You got to do cool stuff, fun stuff. No one wants to see. So we named it Climb. We didn't name it after someone's last name, and we made it modern. And we had this red color, and it was just great time. And we blew up in the national eye. A lot of people looked to us and see what we were doing. Then Realogy came knocking, and they bought us. So they acquired us in 2016. And I'll never forget it, but I walked into Richard Smith's office, the then president, and he goes to me, hey, young man, nice to meet you. Welcome to Realogy. I just want to let you know our legal team has researched Climb real estate in all 50 states, and we've reserved the name. Welcome to Realogy. So their point was that they wanted to grow Climb nationwide and make it their urban, millennial, hip, modern, techie brand, right? So we were close. It didn't happen, but that was the plan. That was the whole thing. But after that, after Realogy purchase, I'm not a big company guy. I'm a serial entrepreneur, as you introduced me. I said, hey, I'm going to throw my hat into the real estate tech ring. There's a lot of problems. There are limitless problems you can solve in real estate.
Yes.
Right? I came up with one that I thought wasn't being adequately solved today at the time, and I still don't see it adequately solved. And it's a sales platform, basically a sales pitching platform to precise HighNote. And here's the use case. If you get a lead and you have to respond to the lead, and let's say it's a seller lead. Well, what do you have to respond with? Thank you for emailing me. I can't wait to meet you. Or you get on a phone or something. But she or he, that lead, is being interviewed by 2 other agents also. Or vice versa, right? They're interviewing 2 other agents. You need to stand out. How are you going to differentiate yourself as a real estate agent from those other 2 people? You don't even know who those 2 other people are, other agents. So, but what you do is you scramble, you set up a call, and you set up an appointment to go meet them, but you need to send them something, right? And some people just print out a listing presentation, take a picture of the house and drop it off at their desk. What about digitally? What are you going to do, right? A lot of people are going digital now.
Yeah.
Right. An email, what happens is an email with a 50-page PDF, or an email with comps, or an email full of links and maybe 3 other PDFs, something like a big mess, basically.
Yeah.
So our tool,
Or no email.
What's that?
Or no email.
Or no email. Or nothing. Exactly. And you need a better way. There's got to be a better way. And we, as a brokerage, when I ran a brokerage, we tried to staff marketing there to turn over these custom presentations, personalized for that seller. It's impossible, right? You can't make something good personalized. And that's what
Yeah.
they need, though. They need it personalized. They can't just be a generic thing, right? And so this tool, our tool does that. You know, you drag and drop and you build things, you put it inside the tool, you put links, you put videos, you put your listings, you put your company's presentations, you put explanation docs, you put closing statements, you put seller estimated closing statement, you put listing agreements, you put Matterports, you put everything you want. We build a presentation for you automatically with software. Makes it look pretty, very readable. When you send it to the seller or your lead, we tell you whether they open or not. And we tell you what they're looking at. We tell you what pages they're looking at. Are they watching the videos? Are they looking at my testimonials? Are they looking at the Matterport videos? Are they looking at how I market properties? Are they looking at my team? What are they looking at? How do you know today? You don't know. You don't even know if they've got it. You don't even know if they've opened it, right? So our tool really provides that insight to how to close a deal. What's important to the seller? What's important to the seller? And I'll give you one great example. There was this one agent. He said he usually sells in a $600,000 price range in San Diego. He got a listing appointment for a $3 million listing, kind of out of his zone.
Yeah.
Right. And he was up against the number one guy, number one luxury guy there. Right. So he sent a HighNote presentation, and his HighNote presentation has a lot of video in it. He had like 3 or 4 videos. And so he sent it and he noticed, hey, they were only looking at the videos. That seller was only looking at the videos. Why? So then he said, okay, the video is important for him. He shows up at the appointment talking about videos, leaning into his video marketing. He finds out later during the appointment and the walk through the house, he's got a video recording studio. He's a video engineer, right? So he cares about video. But him being able to realize that before the meeting, focusing on talking about his video capabilities, really developed this connection with the seller that ultimately let him win that listing. And he won a $3 million listing, and he's a $600,000 player. So it's a really great testament as to the power of the tool and how useful it is for these agents. And that's what really, we get these testimonials all the time.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So let me rewind a little bit, Mike, you know, going back to when you started your brokerage, and it sounded like you guys had a lot of ideas that actually worked. Like they were perfect for the market, perfect for the time, perfect for where you are at the time. Like if you would have tried that in a different market, it would have been completely different.
Right.
Who was the brains behind all this? Was it your partner? Like, how did you guys come up with so many brilliant ideas?
You know, he came up with a lot of the marketing angles. I came up with all the tech stuff. So I was the one that brought we were the first brokerage in the country to try Matterport.
It was you guys. Okay.
Yeah, we were the first ones. We were one of the first ones to do Real Scout, to use Real Scout. We were one of the first ones to use chat, like chat bots.
Right? Yeah.
We were very early in social media. I can't say we were the first, but we were one of the first doing it. And you know, so all kinds of things. You just kind of, I don't know, you're in it. And there's a lot of failures, obviously, too, but you got to just keep trying, right? And the Airstream, the mobile office, was a great idea. Back then, it was food trucks was big. Remember food trucks, right? It was like, oh my
they're
God,
so big
like,
here.
Yeah, destroying the real restaurant industry. They're just driving up right in front of my restaurant, taking business away. Wow, what a great concept. So we said, hey, you know what? There's something to this concept. There should be like a real estate office that goes to you. So, you know, my partner, though, we had the same idea. I wanted to get this truck, like a food truck. He said, no. I bought an Airstream already. The silver shiny Airstream.
Yeah.
And, you know, he tricked it out, made it like a beautiful office. And we used to bring that thing around to open houses. We would use that to win listings and tell sellers, hey, we'll bring an Airstream to your listing. who else can do that?
Yeah.
Nobody can do that.
Nobody.
Right? Yeah. And, you know, so we got into all kinds of magazines and won awards for that. You know, so that was a great one. The great one, another great thing was our office space, you know, it was gorgeously done. And it was modeled after Airbnb's concept. Airbnb's office, if anyone has had a chance to go there, it's just fantastic. Each of their offices are modeled after their hosts' homes. So they have an office, a conference room that's identically to the founders where they started Airbnb. So it's like a loft in San Francisco. Then they have one from Paris.
Wow, that's cool.
Paris. And they have one from Mexico. They have one from, you know, France. I mean, England. They have one from Asia, Japan. So they build these offices to celebrate their hosts and their homes, right? And so we toured that office. Like, this is amazing. This is just amazing idea. So we did the same thing. We built our office to be each of our neighborhoods in San Francisco. Everything from Pacific Heights to Marina to Cow Hollow to the Castro to the financial district, you know, to the Sunset. Each neighborhood in San Francisco is completely different. I mean, you know, same in any big city. So we did that, and then we just really spent a lot of money on it. We made it gorgeous, took great photos, right?
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Let me ask you another thing regarding your partner, because this is crucial. Constantly, we hear agents that are thinking of putting together a team, or they had a team and they had to separate themselves. Even in our company, you know, we have multiple people that are involved in the growth and all the new ideas we have in the company. What would you say are, like, did you guys ever always agree on all your ideas? You know,
obviously not, you know, but that's good. That's really good, because if you all agreed on the same things, nothing is going to change. And you need varying views, different perspectives, and you need to, the way I kind of look at it is like, I need to hear opinions from everyone. And you maybe the ideas are not implementable, but all the time, because it's not just the idea, it's can you implement it, right? But it's like, what's the spirit of that idea? You know, what's the spirit behind it, right? And then encapsulate it into something else. So, you know, we had a lot of that stuff. You know, when we did Climb Labs, it was sort of that same thing. Like, okay, Climb Labs was a honeypot for tech companies to come work with us to experiment with their products. And then what we would do is provide them the agents to test this stuff.
Nice.
You know, the spirit of that really is innovation, right? It's like you have the earliest stuff available, the earliest tools that agents can try. And buyers and sellers have that advantage, because if some of these products work and they give you an edge, they give your agent an edge, why would you not want that edge, right? It's a game of inches.
Absolutely.
You know, you're multiple offers, you're selling stuff. You need to attract attention.
Absolutely. But hold on. What I wanted to get more is, what was the dynamic between you and your partner? Like, okay, you guys didn't agree on everything. Did you guys ever say, you know what, this is not working out, you know, I'm out of here? Did you, like, how did you guys ever get intensely in disagreements, or was it all just, you know,
we've
smooth?
only had one fight, I would say, one angry fight. And I think only one. And I think after that, we had an understanding, I think. And, you know, we brought in a third partner as well. And all of us couldn't be more different. You know, the third partner was our managing broker, and super good at buttoning up details and making sure things did not fall through the cracks, make sure we didn't get into trouble, because in brokerage in California, lawsuits can bring down a brokerage, and California is highly litigious, right? Lawsuits happen over everything, condo defects. Miami knows about this with the latest building collapse, but all kinds of non-disclosure issues, square footage discrepancies. You know, the seller says it's one thing and you're buying it, and then you measure it and you see it's another. All kinds of lawsuits, but California is really bad with that. So you need someone that's going to take care of the shop. And then, but me and Chris and myself, we're sort of like, we ran loose a little bit. We had great ideas and we just implemented them. Didn't always think about the details behind them. And so you see things with different lenses. I saw things from an efficiency, tech, impact lens. He saw things from a marketing sales lens. And then my other partner saw things from a legal liability risk taking lens. And, sometimes it's just those three will fight. They will disagree. But you need to give space, So I always said, hey, all right, Chris, you want to do that? Go ahead. It's not going to work, but go ahead, try it. And same with me. He would do the same with me. And, you need to give space. It's like a marriage. It's like a marriage. You need to give space to the other person, and you're wedded. You're committed to each other. If you don't allow someone to be themselves, then you should split up, right? You can't. So you gotta, as long as you have the same ambition. And for us, it was to build the greatest urban brand that we could build. And
that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So that was the glue. It's like, you may have disagreements, you may have different views, you may want to try different projects, but the vision was the same. It was a shared vision.
It was a shared vision. And, we still disagree to things. I see him and he's like, he wants to do something, I want to do something. I'm like, I don't understand, but, how the other one's thinking, but we also do. Like, we just come at it from a different perspective. And that's what it's about. It's like embracing other perspectives. And cosmopolitan cities like Miami, New York, San Francisco, that's what makes them great, because you have different people coming in. They bring different energy, they bring different ideas, and you have to mix it up a little bit. What's going to come out is something else that you'll never get if you don't mix it up. And part of mixing it up means hearing other thoughts and other perspectives that are going to clash with yours. There's no doubt about it. So you need to embrace that. I love it when my staff or my employees argue with me. I love it. Challenge me. I don't want someone to say, yeah, that's a great idea, Mark. All right, I'll do it. And you don't like it. I want to hear why I'm wrong. That's what I want to hear. Why am I wrong? Show me I'm wrong, right? Tell me.
I love that you challenge the model, because I think so many brokerages out there, it's just like same old, same old. And you also trusting your gut and your instinct, like placing yourself in a market where it's not good for now, but it's good for the future. We're going to plant our flag here, but then doing things totally differently, where even the big brands, right, are going, you know what, we want to kind of model this for our high-end urban thing.
Right.
Because I would have a lot of fun with you, because I used to talk about this all the time to clients that had brokerages. I'm like, can you change the lobby? Like, just the lobby. Just change that. Like, can we make it like an Apple store at least? Can we make it homey? Can you put a couch in here?
That's right.
Do we have to have the same screen in the window? Everybody has the same exact screen. Can we make it like a phone? Can we try something different there?
That's right.
And I was like, come on. I love this one guy, maybe you knew of him, Zilbert in Miami. He was the first one to create a store as a real estate office.
Ooh.
So you go in the store, Zilbert, and he was on Inman and stuff like that. He created a retail space, like just where all the stores were. And he opened his store called the Zilbert store. And you could go in there and you could like browse magazines of different condos and like pull stuff off of the walls and talk to a real estate agent. And I was like, that's genius. And the leads were flying in, right? And then everybody wanted to model that.
Wow. Zilbert.com. Yes, I've heard of this guy. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to challenge the status quo. Otherwise you're going to be the same. And if you're going to be status quo, that's fine, but you need more money then. You need to be able to outspend the others to get attention. If you don't have that backing, then you got to do something different, especially in real estate where you're marketing. You're not only a salesperson doing fiduciary duties for your clients, but you're marketing, right? You got to be. And marketing is all about purple cow. It's about how to be different.
Right now, one of the things we do with agents and brokerages is we help them grow their social media. And we always emphasize on identifying like what makes you, You know, we say let's identify that, and then we can share with the world. That's going to get people to be attracted to you and follow you. What would you recommend to folks who are still thinking, well, I don't know, what am I supposed to do that's unique about me?
You know, it's funny. Being you is probably, everyone goes through this life lesson. You're afraid to be you sometime. You're 13 years old, you're afraid to be you. You're 20 years old, you're afraid to be you. You're 30 years old, you're 40. Whatever point in time that you decide that you're not going to be afraid to be you, right, is when things change. That's what I've noticed over the years, right?
Yeah.
And for me personally, same thing. I didn't become comfortable with being me until I became a real estate agent, and I was forced to become a marketing person. And I had to do a little coaching. I had to go through coaching. I was afraid to take out an ad in a magazine because I was afraid what people were thinking about me. You know, and then back when social media, this is a great story. Back when social media came out, everyone was so afraid to be them. Like, oh my God, my pictures, they're going to be online now. And then it's a conflict with real estate in a way, because you have your professional life and you have a personal life.
Yeah.
And it took so long for people, should I have a business page or a personal page? And I'm like, look, you better just merge the two. What? And I took it from one angle. It was like, hey, you don't have time to update both. So I'm always time-based, right? You don't have time to update both. You might as well just own it. Like if you're at the park with having fun with your girlfriend or your boyfriend or watching a baseball game, why not post about that? Like, why not? You got to be yourself. And I tell this to everyone that no one, and it's cliche in a way, but it's true. No one, in life and in agent and brokerage life, agent life, you need to be the best, right, at something. And in this example, you need to best something. And you know what? No one's going to be better at being you than you, right? And someone told me that once, and I said, you know what? You're right. No one's going to be better at me than me. So why not just be me? And being you will free you. Being comfortable being you frees you. And it shows, because then now you're confident. You're confident at being you, and you're yourself. And nothing's more different than you, right? And so social media, you just got to figure out, and that's what we used to do. We used to, like, when we met an agent, okay, how are you going to be different? What are you? You're a single mom? Are you a young guy? Are you an old guy? Are you married? Are you married with kids? Are you gay? Are you, or what race are you, ethnicity? What's your angle?
Okay.
That you're going to be.
Yeah.
Because if you're like everyone else, you're like no one else. You got to be something different, right?
Yeah.
So, and this comes to your whole thing about team. A diversity of team is critical. You need to have different ethnicities, different backgrounds, different socioeconomic points of view, different locations, whatever. That's what makes a great team. The mixing up of different people. So the only way you're going to get different people and individuality is by promoting it and being you, right? So no one could be better at being you than you. So.
And how did you keep your team, your agents, your people on that mode? How did you have to motivate them a lot, or just they were already excited?
No, because we were like that as a brand and as people. Like, we just everyone had a different personality, but we all worked well together. We could be friends, we could be friends, but we're so different. And it was like we're bonded by the differences.
Wow.
Kind of strange.
Yeah.
We're bonded because we were individual and different. But what we enjoyed was the variety of the people. We had the first trans real estate agent, transgender real estate agent,
Wow.
And we promoted him before this was a big thing. And we're just like, look, this is who he wants to be. He used to be a woman, he became a man. And it was just like, and really it's the story of fighting against the status quo and against around what other people want you to be, right?
The societal expectations.
The societal expectations. And so I think that's probably what bonded us too. We're like, you know, you like me or you don't. I'm not sure if I care. I
Right,
know
right.
someone's gonna like me. Someone's gonna like me, and there's probably a lot of people that like me, but I can't please everyone. And
Wow, that's
so
amazing.
that was our motto. Like, we can't please everyone. Everyone was trying to please the $30 million mansion owner and try to be societal. And we're like, you know what? That's not us. We're gonna make one of our conference rooms a graffiti room. So we hired a graffiti artist to come in and spray our main conference room. And the main conference room was all laden in graffiti. And before it was hip, and everyone's like, what is this place? And I'm like, you know what? You don't like it? Maybe we're just not for you. Maybe you sit in this other room. There's no graffiti. I don't know. But you know, you got to be yourself. There's no other way to say it.
Is that also how you chose people you work with, your clients, your future business partners, and all that?
Out. You know, like, you know, the people that were not comfortable with it, you know, went somewhere else. So then the people that join you are naturally gonna like you for who you are, and you know, your confidence shows. And then, you know, so I don't know. It's a very hard thing to do, but I think it's the key to success. Once you're comfortable who you are, you can then be free to promote yourself and be that person, which only breeds more people that like you. And then you have next thing you know, you have a following. I think Kevin Kelly from Wired magazine, you know, he said this best. He says, look, you don't need 1 million fans, right? You only need a few fans, right? Find out who that following is, and you know, be that person that'll entertain those fans, right? You'll find that you can't please everyone, so don't even try. Everyone can sense when you're not being real. Everyone can sense if you're not authentic. So, and if you're trying to please everyone, you're not authentic, right? You can't be.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway.
But let me ask you something. How, because from the way you shared your story, how it progressed, it seems to progress rather quickly. It's kind of like a extraordinary story, you know, from an idea, yeah, you should get a license, to next thing, you know, they want to buy it, you want to buy the business. What would you say allowed you to move so quickly and grow?
Action. You know, I think you got to take action. And I think, you know, life's about timing too. Like, this success story is all luck too. There's a lot of luck involved. You're
a lucky man.
Yeah, I mean, we were at the right place at the right time. And if it wasn't for this neighborhood that was booming, and if it wasn't for the fact that I met other people and I had found my partner, and if I wasn't that, you know, we were, it was just kind of, life's about timing and seizing the opportunity. If you see an opportunity, you know, in life, you don't get many of these opportunities, as you know, right? Maybe in life you have like a few opportunities that you can seize on that could change your life. So we kind of recognized this opportunity and we really seized on it. And you got to give it your all, you know, like, you find an opportunity and you just throw your whole heart and weight behind it, right? You can't half-ass it, right? And, you know, it's like, this has become life coaching. You just can't half-ass it. You got to be yourself, take opportunities. But I can't, you know, focus, specialize, go all in on something.
Come on, let's face it. Most of the realtors who are going to listen to this so far have not committed
to real estate.
Yeah. Like, they're not all in, because if they were all in, we wouldn't be in the world of there's 2.1 million realtors and only 20%, you know, sell real estate.
That's right. Yeah. And, you know, we used to tell people, like, look, all right, you want to have your part-time job and try to sell real estate on the side. I mean, you can't do anything halfway. And, you know, we always say you can't be half pregnant, right? I mean, it's you can't be half pregnant, right? It's like you're either pregnant or not. You're either doing something or you're not doing something. And really,
you're talking about luck, but I mean, from what I'm hearing, there's not a lot of luck involved. You actually had notions, ideas, creative opportunities, and you said, you know what, I'm going to take action on them because this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to grow. It's going to climb, right? I mean, even built the company around it.
Yeah.
So it's like, I had 3 interviews today with realtors to really dive deep in their business and just hear like, what's going on for you? What are you struggling with? What do you want to do? Where do you want to grow? And I could hear the hesitation in all their voices, even though they knew, hey, I did 18 transactions and 6 of them came from this. But I'm not going to, I said, so do twice that. Nah, I don't know.
Right.
Get to that. That's working.
Yeah. I got a great example around. No, exactly. I got a great example around that story. Zillow back in the day, I mean, Zillow's very big still, but that was one of the new lead sources. So I started buying Zillow and Trulia leads at $100 a month. And I was getting a few leads at a time. And then some of these leads were converting. So your ROI on your dollar spend was pretty high, right? Very high. And the average sale price of a home in San Francisco at the time was around $700,000-800,000. So commissions are 20,000, right? Roughly. So it's more than paying off. But agents were still afraid of spending money to buy the ads. Like, oh, wait, exactly the same story. You got 6 deals from that? Well, do more of that. Oh, but it's so expensive to buy the ads. I'm like, are you kidding me? So, I met you need the help because it's really scary for agents because you're self-employed.
So one of my 3 interviews today, surprising to me, she got 13 deals at a Zillow last year, right? 13 deals out of 21 or something. Can you imagine? And she's like, well, I'm thinking about like, should I renew? I'm like, what's there to think about?
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not a huge fan of the Zillow model, but like, hey, if it's ROIing for you, I'm a huge fan. Double down and double down.
Exactly. So I worked with my coach about this. And so I said, hey, if this was working at $100, what happens if I 10X this? What happens if I spent $1,000 a month? So I started spending, so I said, you know what, instead of 10% of the zip code, I'm going to buy 100% of the zip code. So I bought 100% of the zip code so that every time a buyer or seller went to 94105, they would always see my face. And that was scary at the time. It was like $12,000 a year. But in hindsight, it's foolish. Like, are you kidding me? That's like, that's like not even a commission. And it's, so I would say not even double down, like 10 times 10, and like on marketing. If you're going to spend anything marketing, no, I never wasted $1 on marketing. Right. And so, but I agree with you 100%. Like, I just said, what would be the single most impactful thing? Well, that, right. But challengers, and I always have to challenge myself. I increase it 10% a month. I'm like, $120 a month. Oh my God. $150 a month. Oh my God. Then we said, all right, let's just go all in on it. And thinking big and going big is really how you have to do it. And the problem is going big and thinking big is very scary. Not many people can do that. And I just didn't want to be unsuccessful anymore. I didn't want to be mediocre. And I said, all right, you don't just incrementalize your way into something. You don't tiptoe your way in. If you're going to learn to swim, just jump in, right? Just jump in. So,
and you said you did get coaching. Like, for how long did you get that?
I still have the same coach. 2005 till today, sales coach, basically. And he's like a life coach back in, is a life coach basically. And that's what it is. A sales coach is really, they focus on numbers, but those numbers, why you're not hitting those numbers is something in you that's stopping you from doing it. Lack of commitment, scared, lack of discipline, too busy. Too busy is an excuse. It's something else going on. It's something that's stopping you. Maybe you're afraid to fail. Maybe you're just not into whatever it is. It's something personal. It's never the numbers. It's never the numbers, right?
Yeah.
It's something else, and it's always commitment around a goal going all in, being afraid. I don't know what it is, but it's different for everyone. So you need a life coach. I mean, I needed one. I don't know, not everyone does, but I needed one, and it helped me push. I remember I was like, I met the life coach. I was like, yeah, this agent thing is great, but I think we should start a brokerage. And so, and I think I know the partner that I want to work with. And so every week I had to work with him on, all right, I'm going to pitch him this week. I'm going to build a business plan. I'm going to, try to recruit him and try to come up with this thing. And then, he coached me all the way to the end where we sold the brokerage to the largest real estate company in the country, Realogy. I mean, it's a dream come true, and it could have been even better if they decided to franchise it, which we almost did, but it was a dream come true. And I'm still using him today. Coach, you need a coach. You need someone to help you.
I think that's actually been one of the things, even in our approach with our agents, that we are encouraging them and we are providing them, I would say, very slight type of coaching, but I think definitely we would begin to encourage them to really seek out that support, that somebody that's going to hold them accountable, watch them from a third person point of view, so that they could tell them, here's where you're not, covering your weaknesses, and at the same time help them together. Because today we did a training. I had over 25 people show up, and I could see in their faces, because we do our webinars and we always ask them to turn on their camera, and I could see in their faces they want to, and there's something holding them back. Like, yeah, I'm interested. I just blah, 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 blah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And
one thing I just want to bring up is, because I think there's something to this. It hit me. So I'm doing all these interviews with these realtors, and nobody's saying that they have a coach, right? And they're all older than me. So I'm 44 years old, and I have, 5 coaches? I got a life coach, I got a sales coach, I got a business coach, I got a finance coach. You name it, because I want to excel in all areas.
Yeah.
I don't have time. I have as much time as I have to live here. That's it. So that's it.
That's right. And the hardest thing, real estate agents, you really have a boss. You really don't have a boss.
Here's the thing. I was thinking about it today. I'm like, so why are, some of them are like, oh, I have Tom Ferry as a coach, or I listen to Tom Ferry, not like I have him as a coach, right? Or like I subscribe to this program or that program, but like the coaching piece, I didn't hear it. And then I'm thinking to myself, well, let's look at my mom. If I told my mom she needed a coach right now, she would probably kick me out of the house.
Right.
She'd be, I don't need a coach. What are you talking about? I live my life. I know what I'm doing here. So I think there's something like in the age also is like, I've been trained that a coach is normal, and like I should have a coach, and business coach is part of the how to grow a business. For my parents, it would be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's generational, I think, too. It's cultural and it's pride. Everyone's got a coach. You have a mentor. If it's you either have a mentor or you have a sales manager, or but real estate's so easy to fall into that trap of not having help, because you need to find help now yourself. You're an independent contractor. No one's going to tell you what to do. Everyone's going to tell you to go to the water. Here's some water, come, but no one can force you to drink it. So, right. And, you need to find it yourself. And that's why you're a real estate agent. You like to be your own boss. Right. But how are you going to be your own boss? Right. Really? You only know so much. You can only do the same things that you've always been doing. Right. So you need accountability. That's what the coach provides. Accountability. But obviously the best coaches go deeper. They thrive. They dig into like, okay, you didn't make your number. Why? What's going on here? And it's always a mommy daddy issue. It's always some issue you grew up with, something where you're criticized, you're some kind of something that's holding you. Everyone's got that thing. Everyone's got that thing, right? And it's stopping you. So you gotta like unblock it. You gotta unblock it, and you need outside help. Coaching is like critical.
Yeah. Mark, thank you so much for joining our podcast. I think today was really insightful, it was so good that you shared to the point where you basically told us your secret. You got a coach. You have an amazing team. So all the agents out there, if you don't have that, don't be surprised. Your numbers and your progress is not moving as quickly as you want it to move. And if you want it to move as quickly, you know what you need to have. So any last comments, Alex?
Oh, this was great. I think we covered a lot. I mean, what I like about you, it's our first time meeting face to face, is that you just go with your gut. Like you don't sit there and procrastinate and think about it. It's like you go for things. And
you gotta, your life's too short. Life's too short, and it's the only thing you have, really. It's your gut. That's the only thing you have, right? If you're not gonna, you wait around and you're not gonna get anything else. You can get smarter, but really, it's your gut that really drives you. So you gotta trust it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mark. And I would love to have you again in the future, talk about, new successes, new projects in the future, and, share notes, because we're basically on the same train as you. We're all about providing support, providing a service that makes a difference to the industry. And we want it to be different. We want more success stories and less of the same old people not taking action.
Right. I would love to do it again. It was a lot of fun, guys.